Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Misha Madati binti Ramli. Today, I will present our group assignment, which is domestic tourists in Malaysia. Our group consists of 5 members, which is Nurul Huda, Karimah, Nurul Afika, Tengku Nawani, and me, Siti Misha. Sample of the study for this assignment is: first one, the sample of total number of domestic tourists stayed in hotel and homestay in Malaysia. Secondly, sample of total number of domestic tourists in Sarawak, Perak, and Selangor. This assignment consists of 4 objectives. Firstly, to estimate the mean, variance, and standard deviation of total number of domestic tourists stayed in hotel and homestay in Malaysia. Secondly, to identify tests of the mean of total number of domestic tourists stayed in hotel and homestay in Malaysia. Third one is to identify tests of the variance of total number of domestic tourists stayed in hotel and homestay in Malaysia. The last one is to compare the mean of total number of domestic tourists in Sarawak, Perak, and Selangor. A significant study can be deduced to see the difference in Malaysian accommodation option when traveling within the country. This is because, according to the Tourism Malaysia report, domestic tourists choose unpaid accommodation provided by relatives and friends as their main accommodation choice. It's recorded the highest percentage of 68.2%, followed by hotel 20.4%, apartments 4.4%, homestay or holidays home 3%, chalet 2.3%, and rest home 1.7%. Therefore, we took 2 types of accommodation to see Malaysians' favorite accommodation. Not only that, the importance of learning about this matter is to see the comparison of domestic tourism rates in several states in Malaysia. The sample in this assignment is taken from existing information and data in the website of Tourism Malaysia and Department of Statistics Malaysia. Sample of total number of domestic tourists stayed in hotels and homestay is taken from Tourism Malaysia, while sample of total number of domestic tourists in Sarawak, Perak, and Selangor is taken from Department of Statistics Malaysia. We're also using software, which is Microsoft Excel, to calculate the data.
Now, we continue with analysis data for objective 1, which is to estimate the mean, variance, and standard deviation of total number of domestic tourists stayed in hotel and homestay in Malaysia. For hotel, we must do a calculation of sample mean first. The formula is S bar equal to sum of S over N, which is the total number of data. So we include the data into the formula, we get 490,272.76. Second, we can do a calculation of sample variance. Formula is S square equal to sum of S minus S bar power of 2 over N minus 1. So we get 8.01125 times 10 power of 12. Lastly, we do a calculation of sample standard deviation, which is the formula same as the sample variance, but we must add the square root into all it. And we get 2830463.743. As we must find mean for homestay. First, same as just now, we must include into the formula S bar equal to sum of S over N, and we get 323,741.6 for the mean. And next, we calculate the sample variance of homestay, and we get 158,990,4,981. Lastly, we calculate the standard deviation by using the formula, and we get 39873.6126. By using Microsoft Excel, we get the estimate value of the mean and standard deviation and also variance for the both of the data, hotel and homestay. Next, to find estimation of mean for 2 population, first we must calculate degree of freedom, and we get 4 for the degree of freedom. And then we estimate of the standard deviation of S bar 1 minus S bar 2. The formula is S bar 1 minus S bar 2 equal to square root S bar 1 square over N1 plus S2 square over N2, and we get 1265947.464. The third is, we calculate the interval estimation of mu1 minus mu2. First, we take 95% for confidence level, and the alpha we get 0.05. And then we can include the data we get just now into the formula of interval estimation. And we get 45189,264.24 to 522,178.04.56. Lastly, we calculate the estimation of variance, and for this, we use alpha equal to 0.1, and for F 0.0544 for variable we get 6.39, and for F 0.9544 equal to 1 over 6.39. So we include the data into the formula of estimation of variance, we get 788.575 less than variance 1 square over variance 2 square less than 32199.185.
So, for the second objective, we need to identify tasks of the mean of total number of domestic tourists stay in hotel and homestay in Malaysia. So, hypothesis test about the mean 2 population, H null, mu1 equal to mu2, H alternative, mu1 greater than mu2. Because of the size sample of this sample is smallest sample, therefore, we use t distribution to perform the hypothesis test. Firstly, we need to find the degree of freedom by using this formula, and then we will get degree of freedom equal to 4. The significant level we use in this test, which is alpha equal to 0.05. The greater sign in the alternative hypothesis indicates that the test is in the right tell. Consequently, the critical value of t is 2.132 as shown in the graph. So in this graph, we show the rejection region of H null and do not reject H null. So, to find the test statistic t, we need to find the estimator of standard deviation by using this formula, and we will get the estimator of standard deviation equal to 1,265,947.464. So, the value of test statistic t for x1 bar minus x2 bar is computing as follow by using this formula. So, mu1 minus mu2, we will get the value from the null hypothesis, and then we will get 0 for the value. And then we will get the test statistic t equal to 38.472. Because of the value test statistic is greater than critical value, it falls in the rejection region. We reject the null hypothesis. Therefore, we can conclude that the mean of total number of domestic tourists stay in hotel is higher than the mean of total number of domestic tourists stay in homestay. This one is the test mean by using Microsoft Excel, and then we will get the sum output as we calculate it manually.
For objective 3, we need to identify the test of the variance of total number of domestic tourists stay in hotel and homestay in Malaysia. So we are using hypothesis test about the population variance for two variants. First step, we need to identify null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. So null hypothesis is variance 1 equal to variance 2, and alternative hypothesis is variance 1 is greater than variance 2. We are using F distribution, and the significant value is alpha equal to 0.05, and degree of freedom of numerator is 4, and degree of freedom of denominator is 4. This is the right tail, and the critical value is 6.39. Then we find the test value using the F equal to S1 square over S2 square, and equal to 8.011525 multiplied by 10 to the power of 12 over 1,989,904,981, and equal to 5,038.996. Then we reject H null, saying 5,038.996 is greater than 6.39. There is enough evidence to support the claim that the variance of total number of domestic tourists stay in hotel and homestay are different, and we are using Microsoft Excel to compare the test value, and we get the same output.
So next, for the last objective, we have to compare the mean of total number of domestic tourists in Sarawak, Perak and Selangor. So we use ANOVA test for this. In ANOVA, we have 5 steps, which is, the first step is state the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. So, step number 2, we must select the distribution to use, which is F distribution. For the third step, we must determine the rejection and non-rejection region. So for the next steps, we must calculate the value of test statistic. So before we get this F test statistic, we must first search for the between sample sum of square, within sample sum of square, the total of sum of square, variance between sample, variance within sample. After finding those value, we can find the value of test statistic by using formula F equals to MSB over MSW. So after finding those values, we can conclude all that in one table, which is ANOVA table. So the last step is make a decision. So by using Microsoft Excel and manual calculation, the value of the test statistic is F equals to 8.0546, which is greater than the critical value, which is F equals to 3.89. So it falls in the rejection region. Hence, we reject null hypothesis and conclude that not all the three means are equal. So this is the ANOVA summary table by using Microsoft Excel. In conclusion, this study analyzes a sample of domestic tourists in Malaysia. Microsoft Excel is the software that we use to analyze all the data that we got from Malaysia tourism key indicators. First of all, we estimate parameters which are mean, variance, and standard deviation of total number of domestic tourists that stay in hotel and homestay in Malaysia. We can conclude that all the parameters between hotel and homestay are different by calculating and analyzing them using Microsoft Excel. For the second objective, we use hypothesis test about the mean for two populations, which are tourists that stay in hotel and homestay. By using Microsoft Excel, we can see that the mean of total number domestic tourists that stay in hotel is higher than the mean total number of domestic tourists stay in homestay. Next, we use chi-square test for two variances as the hypothesis test for the third objective. After calculating and analyzing in Microsoft Excel, there is enough evidence to support the claim that the variance of total number of domestic tourists stay in hotel and homestay are different. Lastly, for the last objective, we use ANOVA test, which is one-way ANOVA to compare the mean of total number of domestic tourists in Sarawak, Perak, and Selangor. We can conclude that not all the three means are equal after using Microsoft Excel and also manual calculating.